Hi, I'm Andy. Welcome to my channel. This is the place to be if you want to make the most from your money. And what I want to talk about in this video is something brand new, hot off the press. It's been released today. It is the Monzo Premium bank account. Now, I've spoken quite a lot about Monzo on this channel. I've spoken about its free account, which I think is a fantastic offering. Maybe not as good as Starling, depending how you're going to use it and what you need it for, but it is really good. It has loads of fantastic budgeting features in particular. I've also spoken about Monzo's Plus account. For £5 a month, you get some extra budgeting features, things like virtual cards, some extra bits and pieces. That came out in the summer. To be fair, I don't think it's worth an extra £5 a month on top of the free account. That's 60 quid a year. I've going to got a whole video which I'll link to. You can watch that to find out what's included in that and exactly what you're getting for your money. But now we've got this new version, Monzo Premium, that builds on both of those and adds even more features, but charges you even more money. It costs £15 a month. That's £180 a year. So it's not a kind of simple case, yeah, I'll just upgrade and get it. You kind of got to really be sure that what you're getting for that money is worth it. So that's what this video will do. I'll break down some of the features that you get for that money. And also I'll talk about whether I think you should actually kind of getting value for money in terms of what they're actually offering as well. So let's start off by explaining exactly who can get it, because this is really different, because the other accounts, as long as you're over 18, you can get them, there's no problem. This one has an upper age limit of 69. So as long as you're between 18 and 69 years old, you can get a Monzo Premium account. And the reason there's that upper age limit is because the big thing that's packaged as part of this is insurance. So there's obviously an upper age limit on there because, particularly with travel insurance, it gets much more expensive for people to cover you. So that's the main thing. The other thing it's worth knowing about, there is a 6 months minimum on this. So if you sign up to it now, you are locked in for 6 months. Okay, you should bear that in mind. There is no way out of it. If you've already got Monzo Plus, by the way, that has a 3-month minimum. If you're already into that, but about halfway through or whatever it might be, then you can upgrade without any kind of penalty, so you can move on to this. They're not sort of restricting you. They want you obviously to upgrade, but once you're there, you are locked in. So that's really important to know about with this account. So I'll get onto insurance in a minute, but first of all, something that I think a lot of people will be excited about is this is finally when we get to see the Monzo metal card. I'm not that excited about this. I kind of think, hey, if it's included with something, why not? Great, but I don't think it's worth paying extra to get it. Apparently, it costs about 50 quid for them to make each one of these cards anyway. So, it has a premium feel to it. It's shiny, it's metal, it's thin. It's got the logo engraved. It's quite nice that actually all your details are on the back. Now you see this with Starling's free account, you see this with Monzo Plus, but basically the front of it, there's nothing on it, just the logo. So you can sort of share that on social media to your heart's content, flash it around with no one worrying about stealing your details, which I think is quite nice. I think actually a good idea if lots of banks did exactly the same thing. But yes, you get a metal card. So if that's what you've been waiting for, then here, this is your chance to get it. Your only way to get it right now is via Monzo Premium. You work out how much you're willing to pay for that. I'd hesitate to say, I wouldn't hesitate to say that £180 is not worth it for this card, okay? That seems ridiculous, particularly when everything about Monzo is geared towards helping you budget and save money and get better, understanding of your money. To spend 180 quid just to get a metal card seems a bit silly. But that is not all that you get. As I mentioned, insurance is the big thing here. That's where the bulk of your monthly fee is going to go. There are 2 insurances included with this. The first of them is your mobile phone insurance. Now, important to note here, this is just for the card holder, the account holder. So if you've got this account, it will only cover your mobile phone. But it will cover it for damage, loss. Damage includes cracked screens, loss if it's stolen. It will cover you up to £1,000 if someone steals it and they use the calls, the data, unauthorized and rack up charges. That first 24 hours, you can claim back up to £1,000 on that. They're also able to claim up to £300 if accessories are stolen or damaged with the phone. It has to be in the same instant. That's really important here. You can't claim separately. But if you've got some nice headphones that are also nicked, a charger and a plug, really, they're not going to be worth that much money. But nice headphones that go up to £300 can be claimed, as I say, as long as you are making the same claim at the same time for a phone, something has gone wrong with that phone. Now, there is a £75 excess on this as well. So if you make a claim, you pay the first 75 quid and you can only make 2 successful claims in a year. So potentially that could mean you can make more than 2 claims in a year if some have been rejected, but only 2 successful payouts. Now, if your phone is damaged, they will try and repair it or replace it. You don't know which one you'll get, so you might be they just take it away to repair it, and then if they can't replace it, if it's lost or stolen, then they will replace it. And that replacement will be a refurbished phone, which, do you know what, is probably fine. It will come with a warranty as well, but it won't be a brand new out of the box phone. So it's worth bearing that in mind. So that's what you get. That's the first part of the insurance. And I've got the numbers here. Monzo say this mobile part in itself is worth £97 a year. They've calculated that by doing some quotes for a similar kind of package of insurance across lots of different insurers and got out an average price. So they're saying on average, if you were to get exactly the same coverage yourself, it would be £97 a year. So straight away, that knocks a hefty chunk off that initial £180 a year. So feels quite good, right? Of course, with this, and I'll say this in a moment with the travel insurance, it's really, really important that you check that covers you for what you need. That might be more coverage than you possibly even need for this, okay? Again, I should have said actually it's up to £2,000 coverage for that theft, loss or damage. You might not need that much. You might not have a state-of-the-art iPhone 12 Pro Max or whatever it's called, Plus, which has just come out. You might have a phone that's quite a few years old. Actually, to replace it, it's a couple of £100, if that. So do bear that in mind. This is, great coverage potentially if you're prone to losing things and you've got an expensive handset, but less so if you've got an older phone or you've got a case. So here's my phone. I've got a case. I've got a little cover on the screen. That means if I do drop it, the chance of it getting damaged are much, much, much less than not protecting it at all. So there's less need for me to have insurance. And remember also right now, we are going out a lot less. So the chances of you losing your phone somewhere or being stolen are greatly diminished as well. So it's worth bearing that in mind. 2 things there. Does it provide the cover that you actually need? Is it cover more than you actually need? Do you need it at all? And if you do feel you need it in some way, but maybe less of it, look at some quotes out there. Because although that £97 average represents potentially a great saving as part of this bundle, you might be able to get the coverage you need for a lot less because you don't need, as I say, as higher coverage on that. £2,000 for a phone. Again, that's a real high-end telephone. The next insurance is for worldwide travel insurance. It looks pretty decent in terms of what they're covering for you. You'll be generally, I think, happy with that coverage if you went away and needed to make a claim. But with any travel insurance, with any insurance at all, but particularly travel insurance, you need to just check the ins and outs of it, that it covers you for what you're doing. So one of the things I noticed that aren't on there are valuables. Now, that might not be a problem for you because you might think I'm covered on my home insurance. But if you wanted that, that's not there. All the other bits and pieces, it's a minefield, travel insurance. It's one of the worst ones out there. But it's relatively okay. But you do need to check that cover and make sure it covers you for what you need. Now, once again, I think you do a comparison with what you actually need, you might find it comes out a lot cheaper than what this is valued at. Now, they're saying this estimated average is £159. So straight away, you add those 2 insurances together, it's more than the price you'd pay for the Monzo Premium on its own. But again, look at that coverage. So for example, what did it say? It's worldwide and it's family cover and it's annual cover. Now, if you aren't going to be going worldwide, just going to Europe, well, you're overpaying. If you haven't got a family, if it's just you're overpaying. And if you don't need an annual policy, you're just going to go once for a fortnight and you're not likely to go again in the 12 months. Again, you're probably overpaying. And right now, remember where we are right now, we are still really not able to travel around the world as we would. Yes, you can go to Europe. Going further afield is a lot riskier in terms of what you're allowed to do. We still don't know the quarantine. Basically, you know what it is. You know the situation. You're unlikely, I think, to be taking advantage of that amount of cover of travel insurance right now. And also, although this does have some kind of coronavirus coverage, it doesn't cover everything. One important thing it doesn't cover is an FCO, Foreign Commonwealth Office, FCO. If they say you can't travel, that isn't covered. So have a look at it. There's a separate link. And all the things I'm talking about, I've got a review that I've written as well on the blog. And there's more links to all this information. There's information on the Monzo website as well. Have a look and just check, okay, I'm not sure about this, because you might be able to find, if you are going away, you can get that coverage, which is better for something like coronavirus, giving you a little bit more coverage in case things go wrong. Or, as I say, it's a lot cheaper because you don't need family, worldwide, or annual insurance. So yes, if you're going to do it, both those sort of insurance packages potentially represent great value for money if you need them, but you probably don't need them particularly right now. So they're the main parts of Monzo Premium that kind of really where your money is going. That platinum card and those 2 insurance policies. But you do get more for your money. The most important thing to note here is you get everything that Monzo Plus offers. So that's virtual cards, which are quite handy if you are wanting to sort of have something, not use your physical card online. It's a great way to kind of combat fraud. You get a number of those, I think it's 5 or so. You also get in sort of supersized budgeting features, so you can export your statements to another sheet. So you can look at it on a computer on a spreadsheet and mess around with stuff. You get enhanced double up features, in your sort of saving pots where you can auto save things. You get more flexibility with that, so you can do more with that. So that's quite good. So although I don't think that's worth £5 a month, what you get with Monzo Plus, it's probably worth a couple of quid. So you do need to take that into account, that you're getting that as part of this bundle. You also get a few things that Monzo Plus offers, but again, they've kind of increased them a little bit. The most notable one of these is on savings. Monzo Plus gives you 1% on £2,000. Monzo Premium gives you 1.5% on £2,000. So you get an extra 0.5% savings. Again, you can beat this elsewhere right now. It's getting harder to do that, but you can beat that. But I certainly wouldn't encourage you to include what you make from that in the fee, because, well, the fee will take out that interest you earn. Okay, so it's a nice to have if you're going for it, and it's worth knowing you've got it, but it's not the best thing in the world still. And then the other thing is around the money that you can take out of a cash machine overseas. Now, on the free Monzo account, it's restricted. It's not too much at all, about £200 every 30 days. On Monzo Plus, it's £400 every 30 days. On Monzo Premium, it's £600 every 30 days. So you get more, so it makes it easy if you are abroad. Again, as we're saying, it's harder to do that right now. You're less likely to do it right now. And you're probably unlikely to take out too much money if you're going for a city break, because so many places take cards right now. Remember, using your card doesn't charge you anything, a debit card transaction. But you can do that. What I would say is that you can get free withdrawals with a free Starling card anyway. So this, again, it's not a reason to get a Monzo Premium. This increased allowance is just something, if you've got it, it's worth knowing about. And the other thing they sort of talk about is you get a sort of cheaper access to airport lounges. Basically, it's £24 per person per visit to an airport lounge. That's how much you'll pay to get access to these airport lounges. Again, you're not going to be going to many airport lounges right now. And there are other ways to get discounts on those lounges, including the American Express Gold card, which gives you 2 free passes every year. So there are other alternatives there. Again, if you've got it, it's worth knowing about, but it's not a reason to get this card at all. So there you go. That's what you get from Monzo Premium. So I guess the big question now is it worth it? Should you pay £15 a month, £180 a year, to get all of those different features in the bank that you already love? Because I'm assuming if you're already thinking about Monzo Premium, it's because you're a Monzo or a Monzo Plus customer already. As I mentioned before, I think the big thing here in terms of whether it is worth it comes down to, do you need those insurance policies? If the cover's too high, or you're not going to use them at all, again, going back to the fact that we aren't traveling as much, so the travel insurance really potentially is quite redundant right now. Even the phone insurance, if you're not leaving the home. If you don't need them, you don't need this account at all. You're essentially just paying an extra 120 quid on the price of Monzo Plus to get a metal card. Because that's if you're not using the insurance, that's the only extra thing you're getting. I mean, again, as I said before, I don't think Monzo Plus is worth £5 a month. I think the free Monzo is fantastic value for money. So you could argue that if Monzo was only available as a paid account, would you pay £5 a month to get everything Monzo offers, including Monzo Plus? I'd say potentially that might not be a bad option if you used it well and it saved you money elsewhere in terms of budgeting. But then to add on for a metal card on top, if that's all you were using, I can't see it. I can't justify it personally. You might think it's worth it. I don't think it is. But again, you're really going from for free to 180 quid just for a few extra budgeting features and a metal card. I can't justify that myself. That could change, because if we suddenly find that we can travel around the world a lot more, and you are going to much further afield than Europe on more trips, and you're worried about your phone and you've got an expensive handset and you want all the extra things, then, actually Monzo Premium could be a really good account for you. But there is an alternative when we come to those kind of things. So if you do want to get an account that gives you travel and phone insurance, you might be better off looking at Nationwide's Flex Plus account. Now this is £13 a month. So £2 a month less, £2 less every single month, £24 less over a year. What you get there is annual family travel insurance. I haven't looked at them like for like to exactly what the comparison is, but you get a similar coverage again for the whole family. In fact, as I understand it, it's got slightly stronger cover in terms of coronavirus claims. So you get the same thing there. It also offers mobile phone insurance. But what makes it better on the Flex Plus, other than it being a couple of quid cheaper every month, is that it's family mobile phone coverage. So it's not just the account holder, it's covering more people. Again, that's not really relevant if you're just you on your own, but if you have got a spouse or a partner and you have got kids, again, that's extra coverage for less money. And on top of that, you get European and UK breakdown coverage. So if you've got a car and you drive, again, that's a lovely extra feature. Now, again, that might not be relevant to you, that because if you don't have a car and you don't drive, then you might say, well, okay, it's £2 less, but I get a metal card on the Monzo Plus features. Don't have a family, they kind of might even out. But again, like I said, with all those things, if you are going to use the insurance and it's not the right one for you, you'll probably find it cheaper to get them separately as well. So sadly, I feel like I'm saying it again, I love Monzo, I really do. I want them to succeed. They have had their struggles financially, which I've had another video about you can watch if you haven't already. So they need people to pay for their accounts and they need people to use them as their main accounts. It needs to be the one which they're using for their salary to come in, where their money sits, and they use it day in, day out, rather than a kind of an extra card just for spending, just for travel. They need that. And so I really wanted this to be a really good offering, but I really can't say right now in the current situation why anyone can justify paying for it, because they're not going to take advantage of those features. And even later on, when things do potentially loosen up and we can travel more, there's more of a chance we want to claim on either of those insurances. There are better options out there. And remember, it's top end coverage as well. So even then, doing it yourself, shopping around, you'll probably get it cheaper, which ultimately means you're paying a lot of money for that metal card, which as I've said a few times, I don't get the appeal, but I know a lot of you do really like the idea of having one. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button on this video. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Is it value for money? Well, do you think you'll sign up for it? It makes a huge difference. All these little interactions helping other people find this video, because YouTube sends it out to more people. Lets more people find it. So I'd really appreciate it if you do that. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button, that little notification bell as well. And I've got more videos all about this, which I will link to below if you missed those little captions throughout the video. I'll link them below so you can watch them. One looking at Monzo versus Starling, one looking at Monzo Plus, one looking about whether Monzo's financial situation this year. So hopefully one of those will be really useful for you. Until next time, cheers. And here are a couple more videos you might find interesting.